Today, we're going to talk about a silent assassin, a microscopic threat that is right now causing honeybee colonies to collapse all over the world. So, I want you to picture a big, healthy beehive in late summer. It's a bustling city of tens of thousands of bees all working together. The place is packed with honey, pollen, and all the baby bees. The colony seems totally invincible, just getting ready for winter. Okay, now picture that exact same hive just a few weeks later. That bustling city, it's a ghost town. The honey's been robbed out, the brood is dead, and there's just a handful of bees left, and some of them have these crippled, useless wings. The entire colony has just collapsed. For beekeepers, this is a scenario that is just heartbreakingly common. So what is this invisible force? What could possibly bring a super strong colony to its knees so fast and so quietly? Well, let's get into it. This whole thing is so baffling that it actually has its own name, parasitic mite syndrome. It's this quiet, devastating condition that can catch even the most seasoned beekeepers completely by surprise. What makes this syndrome so sneaky is just how fast the collapse happens. Beekeepers will open a hive and find these weird, patchy brood patterns with sunken or chewed up cappings on the cells. It can look like other diseases. But when they send samples to a lab, they often test negative for all the usual suspects. The real culprit is hiding in plain sight. So if it's not some kind of bacteria, what is it? It's time we put a name to our antagonist. The collapse is caused by this tiny, 8-legged parasite. This is the Varroa destructor. And let me tell you, that name, destructor, is tragically accurate. It is, without a doubt, the single biggest threat to honeybees on the entire planet. If a beekeeper doesn't intervene, it will kill any colony it gets into. Now, the origin story of this pest is really key to understanding why it's so destructive. For centuries, Varroa mites lived pretty peacefully with Asian honeybees. But then, around the 1960s, the mite made a species jump over to the European honeybee, the kind we rely on for most of our agriculture. And this new host, it had zero natural defenses. This is what turned a manageable pest into a global killer. Up close, an adult female Varroa is just this tiny reddish-brown oval, a little wider than it is long. But they are absolute masters of concealment. They love to hide between the bee's abdominal segments, which makes them almost impossible to spot if you're just doing a quick hive check. But the real genius of this parasite, and I mean that in the most evil way possible, is its invasion strategy. It carries out this devastatingly effective takeover right under the bees' noses by turning the hive's own nursery into its personal breeding ground. Okay, this life cycle is just horrifyingly efficient. A pregnant female mite sneaks into a brood cell right before the worker bees seal it shut with wax. She hides in the larval food, and once she's sealed in, she starts feeding on the helpless baby bee. Then she lays her eggs. Her son hatches first, and his only job is to mate with his own sisters. And when the new bee finally chews its way out of the cell, it unknowingly carries out the original mother and her newly pregnant daughters, who are all ready to start the whole cycle over again. And the mite has a really clever strategy. It much prefers to infest the brood of male bees, also known as drones. So why is that? Well, because drones take about 3 days longer to develop than female worker bees, and that extra time inside the sealed cell, that's absolutely crucial for the mite. That longer development time inside a drone cell is everything. It allows more of the mite's daughters to grow up and get mated. So what this means is that for every one mite that goes into a drone cell, an average of 2.5 new mated female mites come out. It is literally an exponential growth engine that's designed to overwhelm the colony as fast as possible. But as if all that wasn't bad enough, the mite itself is only part of the threat. I mean, the physical damage from its feeding is bad, but what the mite injects into the bee is far worse. So as the mite is feeding on the bee's fat body tissue, which is basically its liver and its main energy storage organ, it acts like a dirty needle. It transmits a whole cocktail of deadly viruses directly into the bee's bloodstream, completely bypassing its natural defenses. The list of viruses it spreads is long and nasty, but the most infamous one is deformed wing virus, or DWV. This is what causes those crippled, shrunken wings we saw earlier. When you start seeing bees with these symptoms, it is a sure sign of a severe, late-stage Varroa infestation. At that point, the colony is probably on the very edge of collapse. Just think about that for a second. Before Varroa showed up, these viruses were around, but they were almost never a big deal. The mite changed everything. It amplified these viruses from minor annoyances into absolute colony killers, and it fundamentally changed the game for beekeepers forever. So with this unseen enemy multiplying like crazy and spreading disease, how can anyone possibly fight back? Well, the answer lies in constant vigilance and some serious detective work. Because the mites are so good at hiding, just looking for them during a hive inspection is not nearly enough. By the time you can actually see mites crawling on adult bees, the infestation is already dangerously high. So beekeepers have to actively monitor to figure out the true threat level. One really popular method, which doesn't kill the bees, is called the sugar shake. A beekeeper scoops up a sample of bees, coats them in powdered sugar, and gives them a gentle roll. The fine sugar gets all over the mites' feet and makes them lose their grip. Then, the mites fall down through a mesh screen and can be counted, which gives a pretty good estimate of how bad the infestation is. Now, there's an even more accurate method, though it is lethal for the bees in the sample, and it's called the alcohol wash. The process is similar, but using rubbing alcohol or soapy water is incredibly effective at knocking every single mite off of the bees. This gives the beekeeper a really precise mite count to know exactly what they're dealing with. The number of mites they find per 100 bees tells the beekeeper if they're below the danger zone or if they need to intervene right away with treatments to knock back the mite population and save the hive. It's a constant, ongoing battle. You know, this fight against a tiny parasite might seem like a niche problem, something only beekeepers need to worry about. But the outcome of this battle, which is happening in millions of beehives as we speak, has massive implications for every single one of us. Honeybees aren't just for making honey. They are essential pollinators for about a third of the food we eat. We're talking almonds, apples, avocados, blueberries. The list just goes on and on. The fight against the Varroa mite isn't just about saving the bees. It's about protecting the incredibly delicate web that supports our entire food system.